Time Killing Time. Episode 1, A Scandal in Time. Location, Alleyways of Tikor. Don Quixote loudly and obnoxiously flips through the newspaper in her hand, while peppering in a few insightful chuckles. Unfortunately, I know exactly what this means, and that she will continue to try and draw my attention until I acknowledge her at the most appropriate moment. Okay, Don Quixote, fine. What is it? Oh, Manager Esquire, dost thou know that the city's upstart companies, such as one Limbus Company, must always pay close heed to the ever-changing world around us? She spoke, trying to mimic Mersault's usual and monotone voice. She sure. Read thy newspaper, Manager Esquire, and do keep thyself up to date with the events of the city, as Mersault and I don't give up to do every morrow. And just like that, it was gone. But just go along with it, don't ya? Pretty sure she's talking about Mersault and one of his morning routines. The one of the newspapers. Gregor leaned into my ear as I was listening to Don Quixote. The newspaper routine, where he wakes up before a crack of dawn, parks himself on a chair, holds one leg over the other at the exact 90-degree figure 4-leg lock position, and peruses the morning newspaper. Now, I guess it left an impression on her. Bet you she'll be back to her usual self in a week or so. Hearken unto me. Are you paying attention? Yep, totally. So, what's new? What did the article mention us or something?
Oh, how did thou know?
Wait, really?
First off, seize thy eyes on page 3. Though it's quite regrettable that we were rounded a chance to be on the front page.
Huh? Page 3? We're really starting to put our names out there, huh? Don Quixote and Rodia, the two sinners guaranteed to draw the full attention of whichever space they inhabit, were speaking. It was only a matter of time before the other sinners began crowding around us, curious about the commotion.
Come. A dramatic conclusion to the mysterious disappearances of Tikor. Shocking! The perpetrators of this mysterious case has been revealed to be none other than the prestigious Hector family, appalling the general public.
He spoke clear this throat. His wounds from the manor were still fresh. Well, I don't think we need to hear about that part. What else does it say?
With small assistance from some wandering bystanders who happened to be lost in the area, and with the most admirable heroics of Tikor Press free collection staff on the scene.
Wandering bystanders, is it? Perchance that particular denomination refers to us? You saw just then. Bystanders? They're shooting us like we were barely even there, Otis exclaimed in shock. They didn't even mention our company name. Sinclair laments.
Oh, come on! Those time collectors weren't even there.
Rodia shares her frustration with Otis. This is within the expected range of behavior for the news media. Mersault, as factual and as apathetic as ever.
Well, there may be those who seek to interview us after reading this very article, mayhaps?
Yeah, I'm sure they have a grand old time looking for wandering bystanders for an interview. Very descriptive. It's no trice to drag Don Quixote back to earth. I doubt anyone will pay us much attention, Don Quixote. Try not to set yourself up for disappointment, and we were standing there for a good moment in a big group, chattering about this article, and someone slowly but smoothly walked between us. Excuse me, are you Limbus Company employees by chance? A person wearing a large top hat and a set of massive mechanical arms spoke up. You fellas are... Gregor inquires. I'm sure you're already aware of the reason for our visit.
I welcome thee here. Long and hard have I waited for thy arrival. Now, Summer, when shall we begin?
Whoa, is she actually here to interview us? Rodia leans to me, awestruck. No way. Don Quixote wasn't just losing her mind at nothing. I was not told that any interview would be taking place. Sinner number 2, Foss, who has the most extensive knowledge about Limbus Company and the city as a whole, knew nothing of this.
My, where'd go at a time like this? Stop. Where'd I put that leftover hair gel from his makeover? Oh, come. Don't make commerce.
Alright, then. Will you be
Barry,
making your
I
tax payments in
like
installments?
all the credit for what we have accomplished there. Huh?
Okay, we're clearly not on the same page here. We're tax collectors from T Corp's Time Collections Agency, currently on a mission to collect your overdue time tax. Those ilks are never bringers of good tidings indeed. Wait, time tax? No, that doesn't make any sense. Ishmael, who would read every pamphlet when we were entering a new wing, would know better than any other sinner about this process. Virgilius said, a few days ago, aboard Mephistopheles. Location, aboard Mephistopheles. Pass. Are you sure we don't need to pick up a timepiece for each of us to carry? You know, you probably know this already, but in T Corp, everyone must carry a timepiece, yes. I know the rules. But for every rule, there's always room for an alternative that offers a bit more flexibility. Of course, I don't suppose it's listed anywhere in the pamphlet. Outsiders seeking a short-term stay at T Corp can pay the appropriate time tax for the length of their stay to be exempt from relevant obligations, instead of going out of their way to abide by T Corp's rules. As you may have expected, anyone born outside of District 20 must go through numerous hoops before they can be issued a timepiece. So we elected to pay 30 days' worth of time tax on the spot before entering T Corp's borders. Impressive. It can't have been cheap. Otis explains, surprised about the dedication to this unit.
Ah, yes. I wish to wear a watch as well, like Lady Otis does.
Haven't I already made it clear that it is not a fashion item? As I have said so in the past, the company has no budgetary concerns. It is a given that they would be taking care of such expenses. We're finally starting to operate like a real professional company now, huh? Ishmael explains. Location, alleyways of T Corp. Present. Yeah, there must have been a minor miscalculation or something. Maybe we fell slightly short of the amount we have to pay. It hasn't even been 30 days since we arrived here, though. Well, I'm sure we can pawn away their stuff to fix what probably amounts to a ramen error. Easy peasy. Heathcliff muttered, gesturing towards Sinclair and Hunglo his chin. Unless it'll help pay the time tax, then sure. Oh, maybe. I didn't pack much when I left, though. Well, let's hear the damage. How much time tax do we owe you? Currently, you are 10 billion and 40 million odd behind in time tax payments.
What? My feelings get worse for something. I heard a 10 and a 40. The rest just kind of flew over my head.
Rhodia tugs at her collar. She's probably only ever dreamed of a jackpot this big. For that much money. Oh, we might have to make a brief stop at my place first. Honglu recalls his home back in the Hongyuan. What other options do we have if we can't pay the tax? Can't pay the tax is not an option. The only options are as following. Make your payment with time or money. With interest, of course. What the hell does making payment with time even mean? Now that I think about it, I remember someone talking about paying with time before. Never really cared to find out what exactly he meant, though. Ethan? Heathcliff? Know anything about this? I have not once failed to make my payment during my residency at this nest. Thus, I know not of what transpires on an occasion in which one fails to pay the time tax. I've never been involved in a messy business like taxes on the matter either. In my Back Street days, boss dealt with complicated shit like that for the rest of us. Did see a few poor sots getting dragged away because they failed to cough it up, though. Well, then, if they're not so helpful answers, my mind immediately began to wander towards Foss, who I hoped would know something more about this than the two of them. And that's when Otis suddenly and defiantly stood between us and the collectors. This is completely unreasonable. What kind of shoddy calculation led to this nonsensical figure? Tax calculations in T-Corp are always exceptionally reasonable. The clock's ticking. Would I be correct to assume that you lack both the capability and the will to make your fair payments? Wait. We don't have to escalate this. Can we get a timeout? Your choice of words may be quite unwise. Try and whine all you want about not wanting to escalate when you've got 10 billion on in your pockets. I won't recognize your opinion as anything of worth otherwise. No? Then shut up and stay out of our way while we deal with this obstacle that dares to stand in our path. How exciting. 10 billion on death. 10 billion and 40 million on, to be exact. And then, like, the whole fight happens. They beat up the collection staff. Boom, boom, boom. I don't feel like writing like a whole descriptor to you, like how they beat each other, like bang, bow, fucking. You get the idea. Location: alleyways of Teacup. A Teacup staff in different uniform approached the sinners as both sides went on the defensive. Is this one their ringleader? He may be of higher rank, but he is but an employee of Teacup. All the same. Which is to say that our insistence on meeting their demands of hostility may lead to direct confrontation against the full force of Teacup. Lay down your weapons. Now. As for collection staff spoke up. Should you refuse to cooperate, all of you may be considered hostile individuals by T-Corp, and we will use force to. I like that. How thrilling. This is bad. It feels like a great time for Virgilius, whose intimidating glowing eyes to appear. Myself finishes my sentence as Virgilius hands the ball. Man, things weren't much better between us and the guys, but only a few days ago. It was like it's been forever since then. Gregor recalls their time together at the Manor.
Come on, don't glare at us like that. We had our reasons, Kay. They showed up out of nowhere and tried to extort a whole 10 billion on.
10 billion and 40 million on, to be exact. You really like saying that, don't you? Jeez.
Yeah. The point is, there's no way we owe him that much money. What kind of law-abiding citizen? Who are defending with a sense of justice? Here.
Virgilius listened quietly for a moment as the sinners chatted on like they were a part of a comedy skit. Yes, I agree that 10 billion on in taxes does seem unreasonable. However, it is a mystery to me how no one stopped to think for a second about the troubles you might spark by starting a meaningless scuffle like this in the middle of the street, no less. Gregor bit down on a cigarette nervously. Virgilius let out a deep sigh before turning towards the T-Corp employee. We find it regrettable that this incident has led to bloodshed. However, 10 billion on in time tax is unacceptable. I'm sure you know full well that 10 billion on worth of time tax isn't the kind of money that you can simply fork over in the middle of the street. I believe that it would have been more appropriate if you had provided us with some context as to how this number came to be, instead of immediately marching up to us demanding that we pay the time tax. I admit that such an absurd amount of time tax leveled upon your group is almost unprecedented. We have been summoned to an emergency meeting in the relevant office to address the severity of this incident. I see your point. Why don't we move this conversation to the collections office in our relevant jurisdiction area for now and discuss possible solutions. That's Time Killing Time, episode 1 and 2. The visit from T-Corp. That was episode 2. Because episode 2 takes place immediately after the fight. So, there you go.